Okay, so we're going to talk about why this is important to you. And we call this the elephant in the room. And the elephant in the room is some obvious problem that we try not to pay attention to. And that obvious problem is our health. Our health could be so much better and should be so much better. And so that's why we call this the elephant in the room. Let me give you some stats. In 1970, 10% of our country was obese. Cancer was low, type 2 diabetes was low, depression, anxiety, digestive health issues aren't even a thing. Fast forward to 2019, we have 33% of our country is obese or more. Cancer's going through the roof. Digestive health issues are growing like crazy. Anxiety, depression are things that we deal with on a daily basis. And so what we want to focus on, the first mindset we want you to have, is prevention is the future. It is the only thing that will work for the future. We can talk about the environment, we can talk about genetics, these things play a role, but what really you have control over is your lifestyle. And if we prevent some of these issues from ever happening, that's the power. So mindset number one is prevention is the future. So you may be wondering, how did we get to this position? Why do we have this problem when it comes to our health? There's four big problems that we see. Number one, there's too much information, not enough education. You got social media, 47,000 diet books, information overload coming at us every single day. Here's what we have to understand. Two things not taught in school: how to take care of your personal finance, how to take care of your personal health. Two big issues that we see. We're going to focus on the health education. Problem number two is we lack movement. You know, we see this thing about stand-up desks and sitting's the new smoking. I joke around, standing is not the new walking. The challenge that we have every single day is how are we going to move our body? We have technology, we have ease of transportation, and so it's harder and harder to move. That's why we have to change our mindset to have a movement mindset. Problem number three is we have a toxic food environment. No matter where you live, no matter what you do, it's very easy to find inexpensive, unhealthy, great tasting food. And this toxic food environment makes it harder and harder to eat healthier. So what we have to do is we have to plan, we have to prepare, we have to start changing some of these eating habits. And problem number four, and probably the biggest problem we see, is stress is melting us down. I'm 33 years old, my father's 62. It doesn't matter where you're from, how old you are, what your background is, what you do for a living, there's more stress today than ever before. But the cool part is, it's our reaction to that stress that we have control over, and that's the only thing that matters. We all have different stressors. Different things stress all of us out. But how we react to those stressors are the opportunities that we have to manage stress. So those are the four big problems. That's why we're going in the wrong direction. And over the course of the system, we're going to address these four problems. We're going to give you strategies, tactics, and we're going to help you solve these problems. All right, we're going to talk about something that I think is essential to get the results you want. It's called belief systems. And a belief system is a level of certainty, and so you take an action. And when it comes to our health, we have all these different beliefs. Some of you drink water because you're trying to stay hydrated. Some of you sleep because you want to get that rest and rejuvenation. So we develop these beliefs, and many of them are really, really good. The challenge is when we have limiting beliefs. And throughout this system, hopefully we're going to start to uncover some limiting beliefs, start to develop some new beliefs so you get the results you want. Let me tell you a story. My father was in a grocery store 25 plus years ago, and he's minding his own business, going through the aisles, buying a bunch of stuff at the grocery store, and he has bananas in his cart. And this lady sees him with the bananas in his cart. She comes running up to him and says, "Hey, you're that health guy." He's just minding his own business, and he says, "Yeah, I'm that health guy." In our local community, a lot of people know what we do and who we are. And she says, "I can't believe you eat bananas." And she walked away. He's pushing his cart, just gets interrupted by this lady, and he can't just walk away. He's got to go find her and figure out what is she thinking. He comes up to her and says, "I know you said I have bananas in my cart. What's the problem with bananas?" And she says, "Well, they're high in the glycemic index." He says, "Yeah, I wrote a book. I know about the glycemic index. Bananas are high on the glycemic index." She says, "I just can't believe you eat bananas because they're high in sugar." Her belief was bananas make you fat. Here's what we're going to uncover for most of you. We all have these beliefs. Some of them are limiting, but if you have limiting beliefs, it's going to get in the way of your results because the actions you take are based on your beliefs. What we want you to be is open to new beliefs. We're going to talk about cod liver oil, superfoods, different ways to exercise. Allow you to make the mistakes. Try, practice these things because the only thing that matters at the end of the day is the results you want. And if you're getting the results you want from the right actions, then your beliefs will naturally line up. So now that we've positioned the problem, we've made it important to you, we're going to give you something to do. And this is called asking a better question. In our society, we have this thing called medical illiteracy. You go to the doctor, you get your blood test, you have no idea what questions to ask. You go buy a car, many of you know what questions to ask. So what we have to do is we have to educate ourselves. We have to have these questions. We have to know these questions so that we can get better answers. So here's how asking a better question works. Imagine the next time you get a headache. Here's what I want you to ask yourself. Have you had enough water today? Many people that get a headache, they're dehydrated, their vessels get restricted, and they're going to have a headache. Starting to ask these better questions, you start uncovering the source of the problem. If you have acid reflux, how can I solve the acid reflux? If you have low energy, where does energy come from? You start practicing this, you start educating yourself, you'll be able to be your own health advocate. And when we start to have a little bit more medical literacy, we're going to be able to prevent the issues we talked about earlier. So leaving this step, what we want you to do, ask a better question so you get a better answer.